Coffee feels like a morning ritual, warm, comforting, energizing. But for seniors, dangers hide in every cup. From mold toxins that spike blood pressure to pesticide residues that interfere with medications, some brands betray the trust you place in them daily. Today, we're exposing 9 coffee brands you should avoid at all costs and revealing the 2 that are actually safe for your health and worth your money. Coming in at number 9, we've got Folgers. The red can promises the best part of waking up, but lab testing tells a different story. Independent studies found trace amounts of acrylamide, a neurotoxin formed during high heat roasting, present in concerning levels. For seniors, acrylamide exposure has been linked to increased cancer risk and nerve damage over time. The aroma may smell rich and inviting, that deep roasted scent that fills your kitchen each morning, but what you can't see or smell could be slowly harming your body with every morning cup. Scientists estimate that regular coffee drinkers consume between 0.3 and 0.8 micrograms of acrylamide per kilogram of body weight daily from coffee alone. That adds up fast when you're brewing a pot every single day. Beyond the chemical concerns, Folgers sources beans from massive commercial farms where pesticide use is standard practice. Residues like glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, have been detected in coffee samples tested by independent labs. For seniors on blood pressure or heart medications, these chemical residues can interfere with how your body metabolizes drugs, potentially making your medications less effective or causing dangerous interactions. The brand built its reputation on being America's coffee, with that friendly jingle we all remember. Yet the reality is far from the wholesome image their commercials project. You trusted them for decades, assumed that familiar red can meant safety and consistency. Consumer reports also reveal inconsistent quality control across production batches. Some batches arrive stale, oxidized, and bitter, signs that the beans sat too long in warehouses before packaging. When you pop open that metal lid, sometimes there's a flat, almost cardboard-like smell instead of fresh coffee fragrance. Oxidized coffee loses its antioxidants, the very compounds that provide health benefits, leaving you with only the caffeine jolt and none of the protection your heart and brain need. The cheerful red can with its mountain morning imagery hides what's really inside, a product optimized for profit margins, not your health outcomes. This isn't the coffee your grandparents drank when Folgers actually stood for something. The formulation has changed, the sourcing has changed, but the marketing still trades on nostalgia and trust that may no longer be deserved. At number 8, Maxwell House. Marketed as good to the last drop, but health inspections and lab analyses paint a troubling picture. This brand relies heavily on Robusta beans, which are cheaper to produce but contain higher levels of cafeistol, a compound that raises LDL cholesterol. For seniors already managing cholesterol levels or taking statins, this hidden risk could undermine years of careful health management. You think you're just having coffee, measuring out those familiar brown grounds each morning, but you're actually consuming something that works against your heart medication. Research shows that unfiltered coffee containing cafeistol can raise LDL cholesterol by 8 to 10% in regular drinkers. That's enough to push you from borderline high to needing medication adjustments. Testing by independent labs revealed that Maxwell House samples contained detectable levels of ochratoxin A, a mycotoxin produced by mold that grows on improperly stored coffee beans. Ochratoxin A is a known kidney toxin and carcinogen, classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancer as a possible human carcinogen. Seniors with existing kidney issues or those on medications processed through the kidneys face compounded risks. The toxin accumulates over time, meaning daily consumption slowly builds up a toxic load your aging kidneys struggle to eliminate. Imagine pouring your morning cup, watching the steam rise, smelling that familiar bitter aroma, completely unaware that invisible mold toxins wait in every scoop. The can sits innocently on your counter, that distinctive blue label suggesting reliability and tradition. The processing methods also strip away beneficial compounds your body needs. Maxwell House uses high-temperature industrial roasting that destroys delicate antioxidants while maximizing shelf life and production speed. What you're left with is a product designed to last months in your pantry but offers minimal nutritional value. No heart-protective chlorogenic acids, no anti-inflammatory polyphenols. The brand promises tradition and reliability, that comforting image of a warm cup shared with family, yet delivers a brew that may be sabotaging your health one cup at a time. Quality testing has shown that some Maxwell House batches contain up to 50% broken or defective beans, far higher than premium brands. Those defects often harbor more mold and toxins. This isn't about coffee snobbery or expensive tastes. It's about what's actually safe to put in your body every single morning for years. Now at number 7, Nescafe Instant Coffee. Convenience in a jar, ready in seconds. But at what cost? Instant coffee undergoes extreme processing, freeze-dried or spray-dried at temperatures exceeding 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This intense heat not only destroys antioxidants but also increases acrylamide formation to levels significantly higher than regular brewed coffee. Studies show instant coffee can contain up to twice the acrylamide of fresh brewed varieties, with some samples testing at 358 micrograms per kilogram compared to 179 in regular coffee. For seniors concerned about cognitive decline or cancer risk, this matters deeply. That brown powder dissolving so easily in your mug isn't just convenient. It's been processed so aggressively that beneficial compounds are gone and harmful ones concentrated. The sourcing is equally problematic and rarely discussed on the label. Nescafe relies on beans from large-scale plantations in developing countries where pesticide regulations are lax or unenforced. Residue testing has found traces of DDT metabolites and other banned pesticides still present in the final product, decades after these chemicals were supposed to be phased out globally. These chemicals accumulate in fatty tissues and can disrupt hormone function, particularly problematic for seniors whose bodies process toxins less efficiently. The jar promises quick, easy coffee, that instant gratification of hot coffee without the wait, but you're trading convenience for contamination. Environmental groups have documented that some Nescafe suppliers use pesticides banned in Europe and North America for over 20 years. Consumer complaints frequently mention a chemical, almost metallic taste, a warning sign of poor quality beans or contamination during processing. That sharp, artificial flavor isn't just bad coffee, it's often an indicator of problems. Some batches have been found to contain insect fragments and other foreign matter, barely meeting minimum FDA standards for defects. The FDA allows up to 10% of coffee by weight to be insect-infested or moldy before requiring action. The brown granules dissolve quickly in hot water, creating that familiar dark brew in seconds. But they also dissolve your trust when you learn what's really in that jar. You deserve better than a product engineered for speed over safety, for profit margins over purity. The jar sits on your shelf for months, never going bad, and that should tell you something about how processed and preserved this product really is. Have you ever wondered why the cheapest coffee always seems to cause the most stomach issues? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 6 brings us to Dunkin' Donuts packaged coffee. The brand built on America runs on Dunkin' now sells packaged coffee for home use, but the quality doesn't match the in-store experience you remember. Third-party lab testing revealed inconsistent roasting, with some batches showing signs of over-roasting that creates excessive bitter compounds and higher acrylamide levels than properly roasted coffee. The orange bag promises the same taste you get at the shop, that familiar sweetness and smoothness. But what arrives in your kitchen is often stale, flat, and potentially harmful. When you tear open the bag, sometimes there's barely any aroma at all, just a faint stale smell. Nothing like the rich scent that fills a Dunkin' location. That's oxidation, that's age, that's quality degradation. The real concern lies in the supply chain and where these beans actually come from. Dunkin' sources beans through multiple suppliers with varying quality standards. Essentially, whoever can provide volume at the right price point. Some shipments have been flagged for improper storage conditions that promote mold growth during transport and warehousing. Aspergillus and penicillium molds, common on improperly dried coffee beans, produce mycotoxins that survive the roasting process and end up in your cup. For seniors with compromised immune systems or respiratory issues, exposure to these toxins can trigger inflammation, worsen asthma, or cause allergic reactions. The familiar logo offers comfort, that orange and pink you've trusted for decades, but the contents betray that trust with every inconsistent batch. Statistics show that nearly 35% of commercially available coffee contains detectable levels of ochratoxin A at levels that exceed safety recommendations from health organizations. Dunkin' falls into this category more often than premium brands, according to independent testing results. Your morning routine shouldn't include a daily dose of kidney-damaging toxins, yet that's exactly what many seniors unknowingly consume when they brew this brand. The packaging looks clean and modern, appealing and professional on the grocery shelf, but inside, quality control failures mean you're gambling with your health every time you brew a pot. Consumer reviews consistently mention bitterness and inconsistency, with some bags tasting nothing like Dunkin' coffee and others being acceptable. That variation itself is a red flag, suggesting quality standards aren't being maintained. At number 5, 8 o'clock coffee. Once a supermarket staple trusted by generations, now a source of hidden dangers lurking in red bags on store shelves. Consumer reports reveal frequent complaints about musty, moldy odors when opening fresh bags. That unmistakable damp basement smell that hits you when you break the seal. That's not just stale coffee, that's a clear indicator of moisture contamination during storage or shipping. Mold on coffee beans produces mycotoxins that cannot be removed by washing or roasting. They're heat stable and remain in the final product. For seniors, mycotoxin exposure is linked to liver damage, immune suppression, and increased cancer risk according to toxicology research. The red bag promises affordability and tradition, value for your dollar, but the contents may be actively harming you with every pot you brew. Independent testing found that 8 o'clock uses a blend of beans from various origins, many from farms with minimal oversight or inspection. Pesticide residues including chlorpyrifos, a neurotoxic insecticide banned in many countries but still used in coffee-growing regions, have been detected in finished products. Chlorpyrifos exposure has been linked to Parkinson's disease progression in multiple studies. Seniors taking medications for Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, or other neurological conditions face particular risk. These pesticides can accelerate cognitive decline and interfere with treatment effectiveness. The World Health Organization lists chlorpyrifos as moderately hazardous, yet it shows up in coffee we drink daily. The brand positions itself as a smart, economical choice for budget-conscious shoppers, yet the hidden costs to your health far exceed any savings at the register. The roasting process also raises concerns about what's being masked. 8 o'clock employs rapid, high-heat methods that prioritize speed and cost reduction over quality and safety. This approach increases acrylamide formation to levels 30% higher than slow-roasted alternatives and destroys beneficial chlorogenic acids, the antioxidants that provide coffee's heart-protective effects. What remains is a harsh, bitter brew, stripped of health benefits, but loaded with potential toxins. You trusted this brand for decades, bought it weekly from the same shelf at the same store, but times have changed and so has the product in that bag. The company has changed ownership multiple times, each transition focused more on cost-cutting and profit than maintaining the quality standards the brand was built on. Doesn't it feel like grocery stores care more about packaging than what's inside the food we're buying? Stick around, because what's coming next is even worse than what you've heard so far. Number 4 on our list is Starbucks pre-ground coffee. The green mermaid logo symbolizes premium coffee culture, specialty drinks, barista-crafted experiences, but the packaged products tell a different story entirely. Pre-ground coffee oxidizes rapidly, losing antioxidants within weeks of grinding as oxygen breaks down beneficial compounds. Starbucks packages often sit on warehouse shelves for months before reaching stores, then sit on store shelves for more weeks before you buy them, meaning the coffee you purchase is already significantly degraded. For seniors seeking the heart-healthy benefits of coffee antioxidants, you're paying premium prices for a product that no longer delivers those benefits. When you open the bag, that stale, almost dusty smell tells you everything. This coffee lost its potency long ago. More concerning are the findings from environmental watchdog groups who tested Starbucks products. The company sources beans from large estates where synthetic pesticides and fungicides are heavily applied to maximize yields. Residue testing found traces of imidacloprid, a neonicotinoid insecticide linked to nervous system disruption in multiple animal studies. For seniors on blood pressure medications or those with heart rhythm issues, exposure to these chemicals can trigger palpitations, dizziness, or dangerous interactions with cardiac drugs. The packaging promises ethical sourcing and quality, those green fields and happy farmers on the marketing materials, but lab results reveal a gap between marketing narrative and reality. Independent testing showed pesticide residues in 60% of Starbucks pre-ground samples. Consumer complaints also highlight persistent issues with rancidity and off flavors that shouldn't exist in coffee this expensive. The distinctive Starbucks dark roast, that signature charred flavor profile, often masks the taste of stale or low-quality beans. That bitter, burnt flavor isn't just a roast profile or preference. It's often a sign of beans that were past their prime before processing even began. Professional coffee tasters describe it as aggressively roasted to hide defects. The bags fill your cart with promises of cafe quality at home, convenient morning brewing, but you're actually buying over-roasted, oxidized coffee that may be doing more harm than good. Your health deserves better than clever branding and green logos covering up inferior products that prioritize shelf life over freshness. Number 3, great value coffee. Walmart's store brand. Budget pricing comes with hidden costs to your health that aren't printed on the label. Great value sources the cheapest beans available on the global commodity market, typically grade C or lower quality that would never pass muster at specialty roasters. These low-grade beans are more likely to contain defects, insect damage, and mold contamination contamination that reputable roasters reject. FDA standards allow for a shocking amount of contamination in coffee. Up to 10% by weight can be defective before action is required. Great Value routinely pushes these limits according to quality analysis, meaning your morning cup may contain ground-up insects and mold spores mixed right in with the coffee grounds. Lab analysis revealed that Great Value samples contained some of the highest levels of ochratoxin, A among tested brands, nearly double the amount found in premium coffees, measuring at 8 micrograms per kilogram, compared to 3 to 4 in better brands. For seniors, chronic exposure to this mycotoxin increases kidney disease risk substantially, worsens existing kidney problems, and can interfere with dialysis or kidney medications. The yellow packaging promises unbeatable value, the lowest price on the shelf, but the true price is paid by your kidneys, liver, and immune system over months and years of daily consumption. You save $3 per canister but risk thousands in future medical bills from accumulated toxin exposure. The processing facilities also raise serious red flags about contamination. Great Value uses co-packers, third-party manufacturers who produce for multiple brands under minimal oversight and inspection. Quality control is inconsistent at best, with some batches showing signs of cross-contamination from other products processed on the same equipment. You might get coffee mixed with traces of cocoa powder or artificial flavors from the previous production run. Food safety inspectors have documented repeated violations at some facilities used by Walmart suppliers. The low price isn't a bargain or a deal, it's a warning sign of cut corners and compromise safety. When you see coffee selling for half the price of name brands, ask yourself what they removed or what quality they sacrificed to hit that price point. Coming in at number 2, Chock Full O' Nuts. The nostalgic name and vintage packaging suggest wholesome American tradition, morning coffee your parents and grandparents drank. But modern reality is far darker than that orange can imply. This brand relies on heavily processed, over-roasted beans that maximize shelf stability while destroying health benefits you expect from coffee. The extreme roasting creates high levels of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs, the same carcinogenic compounds found in charred meat and cigarette smoke. Studies estimate that heavily roasted coffee can contain PAH levels 3 to 4 times higher than medium roasts. For seniors, PAH exposure is linked to increased cancer risk, particularly bladder and lung cancer, according to epidemiological studies. The familiar orange can sitting in your pantry may be a source of daily carcinogen exposure you never knew about. Supply chain investigations reveal that Chock Full O' Nuts sources from bulk commodity suppliers with poor traceability, meaning no one really knows which farms these beans came from. Beans often come from farms using banned pesticides and employing child labor under dangerous conditions, practices documented by human rights organizations. Residue testing found chlorpyrifos, paraquat, and other neurotoxic chemicals present in finished products at detectable levels. Paraquat exposure has been directly linked to Parkinson's disease development in multiple research studies. Seniors with Parkinson's disease or those at risk for neurological conditions face heightened danger. These pesticides are known to accelerate brain cell death and worsen tremors and cognitive symptoms. The brand traded on trust built decades ago, but current practices betray loyal customers who've bought this coffee for 40 or 50 years. Consumer reports document frequent quality issues that should alarm anyone buying this brand. Rancid odors, bitter aftertastes that linger for hours, and gritty textures indicating poor processing or contamination. Some batches contain visible mold growth inside the can, discovered only after purchase when you open it at home. One consumer documented finding a quarter-inch layer of white mold on top of the grounds. The company's customer service response is typically dismissive, offering generic apologies without addressing systemic quality control failures. You thought you were buying a piece of American coffee history, tradition in a can, but instead you're getting a product that puts nostalgia over safety and profits over your health and well-being. Most people never learn the truth about what they're drinking, but we'll give you real solutions at the end. And now, number 1, Community Coffee. Popular throughout the South, this brand markets itself on regional pride and family tradition, that Louisiana heritage. But behind the warm branding lies serious safety concerns. Multiple batches have been recalled due to mold contamination traced back to improper storage in humid Gulf Coast warehouses. The heat and moisture create perfect conditions for aspergillus growth, producing aflatoxins, among the most potent natural carcinogens known to science. Aflatoxin. B1 is classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by international health organizations. For seniors, aflatoxin exposure is particularly dangerous, attacking the liver and potentially triggering liver cancer even in small cumulative doses over time. The yellow packaging promises Southern hospitality and hometown values, but delivers Southern humidity's worst consequence: toxic mold in every cup. Independent lab testing revealed that community coffee consistently shows elevated levels of ochratoxin A and acrylamide compared to other regional brands. Statistics indicate that regular consumers of this coffee face up to 40% higher mycotoxin exposure than those drinking properly stored, quality-controlled alternatives. Testing data showed ochratoxin A levels averaging 7.2 micrograms per kilogram, significantly above recommended limits. For seniors managing liver health, taking statins, or dealing with hepatitis, this daily toxin load can overwhelm an already stressed organ. Your liver processes everything you consume, and when you add mold toxins daily, you're asking it to handle an unnecessary burden that accelerates damage and disease progression. The company's quality control protocols also show troubling gaps in basic safety. Customer complaints about foreign objects in the coffee, including metal shavings, plastic fragments, and unidentified debris, suggest inadequate filtering and inspection at production facilities. Some seniors reported dental injuries from hard objects hidden in the grounds that cracked teeth or damaged crowns. That's not just poor quality, that's dangerous negligence. The brand counts on regional loyalty to overlook these failures, banking on tradition and local pride to shield them from scrutiny. But your health shouldn't be sacrificed for brand loyalty or Southern pride. Community Coffee has shown repeatedly that their priority is market share and profit margins, not consumer safety or quality assurance. The recalls happen, the apologies are issued, but the fundamental problems never get fixed because there's no real accountability. Why do you think the FDA lets brands use ingredients and processing methods that other countries have banned outright? Man, if you care about what you're putting in your body every morning, hit that subscribe button now so you never miss these investigations. Now here are the two brands that actually deserve your money and your trust. The first safe option is Purity Coffee. This brand isn't just another coffee company making empty marketing claims. Purity Coffee is independently lab-tested for mold, mycotoxins, and pesticides, with results publicly available on their website for anyone to verify. Every single batch is tested, not just occasional spot checks. The coffee is sourced from high-altitude organic farms, where cooler temperatures naturally reduce pest pressure and eliminate the need for synthetic pesticides. These farms are audited regularly for compliance. The beans are roasted in small batches using precise temperature controls to preserve antioxidants while minimizing acrylamide formation to the lowest possible levels. For seniors, this means you get the full heart protective benefits of chlorogenic acids and polyphenols without the toxic chemicals found in commercial brands. Purity Coffee is specifically formulated to avoid compounds that spike blood pressure or interfere with common medications. The taste is smooth and rich, not bitter or burnt like over-roasted commercial coffee. When you open a bag, the aroma is fresh and vibrant, proof that these beans were recently roasted and properly stored. You're paying a bit more per bag, but you're getting pharmaceutical-grade purity standards applied to your morning coffee. Your health is worth that investment. The second recommendation is Kicking Horse Coffee. This Canadian brand has built its reputation on transparency and quality that you can actually verify. Kicking Horse is certified organic by accredited organizations and fair trade certified, meaning the beans come from farms that meet strict environmental and labor standards. Every batch is rigorously tested for contaminants, including heavy metals, pesticides, and mycotoxins, before it reaches consumers. The company publishes testing protocols and results, something most big brands refuse to do. The roasting process uses temperature-controlled methods that preserve chlorogenic acids, the beneficial antioxidants in coffee, while minimizing acrylamide formation through careful heat management.